Our hearts beat to the city streets. We began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals, they take us higher. The night's young and it's just begun as she puts her hand in mine. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. Now the morning is the afternoon. We lay awake in bed. The laughs so loud as the hours pass. We're gonna do it all again. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be, we're gonna be two hearts running wild. The moonlight, summer sky, it was the best we ever had. And we'll stay young forever. We'll never have regrets. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. We're gonna be, we're gonna be two hearts running wild. Our hearts beat to the city streets. We began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals, they take us higher. The night's young and it's just begun as she puts her hand in mine. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. Now the morning is the afternoon. We lay awake in bed. The laughs so loud as the hours pass. We're gonna do it all again. Godspeed to the city streets. We began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals they take us higher. The night's young and it's just begun as she puts her hand in mine. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild.
Hey everybody, I'm glad you're here. If you haven't been to my channel before, I'm Tammy, I'm the Siberian Wind, and we are working on Cut and Chiseled. This is a pattern that I designed, and I wanted to be able to use every bit of a fat quarter. So if you haven't already watched episodes 1 and 2, those were published on May 9th and 10th. Please, please, please go back and watch those episodes and you will get caught up. Now tomorrow, after the live is done, we will have in the description box below the videos, all 4 videos, you will have a link with a PDF that you can download in order to complete this project. So it's kind of like a cheat sheet that goes along with Cut and Chiseled. So I want to say hi to everybody that's already in my chat today. I see Joyce is here. Jean has made it in as well. I've got Charlotte. I've got Donnell. I've got Donna from Handmade by Ying. I am so glad you are here, Donna. Thank you so much. I love seeing you in my chat. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I've got Vicky here as well. All right. So if you are a content creator, please put exclamation selfie in the chat, and that will get you the link to your channel. If somebody else has already done it, give it a minute or two before you do it. Nightbot just apparently doesn't like the second person in line, so give everybody a second, and then you'll be able to do your exclamation selfie. You guys, Donna has been going through a lot. She is starting to work on getting back with us. So you guys, please go support Donna's channel if you haven't already. We are so glad to have her here. Let's see. So if you guys are just going to tune in for a little bit, that's fine. Please don't forget to do the replay, because there will be things today that you might miss. Okay? So I want you to realize today is an important day. Today is the day to watch the replay. If you haven't been watching the replays before, go get caught up, get everything going if you're going to join in, and then today is the day that you want to watch the replay. Tomorrow is super important as well. So when we were cutting our fat quarters, we ended up with some extras. Tomorrow, I go over what we're going to do with those extras. Okay? So I'm going to get my quilt top pieced 100% before tomorrow. So you guys will see me piecing a lot of it, but you will see the entire thing tomorrow. Alright, so I'm going to show you. Let's see. Charlotte says, you know I live by replay. Absolutely, Charlotte. I do. I do live by I know you live by replay. Alright, so I'm going to go show you guys a little bit. Okay? So let me grab, and I have a problem with one of my cameras, so we are going to try to use it for a minute. If it does not work out, it is what it is. I've been fighting with it. I've been arguing with it. I have been playing with it. I've been doing everything that I can to try to get it to do exactly what I want it to do. And of course, it's not going to do that because, you know, it's a camera. It's not going to, it doesn't want to like me. So all of my other cameras work just fine, except for this one, and I'm going to be replacing it in another month or 2. All right, so we're going to go to that camera, and we are going to look at what is on this wall, and I want to show you what the layout looks like, and then we're going to go over what not to do. Okay? So it's going to be a lot of demonstration at first, but I want you to see the repetition that comes into this quilt. All right. So this is, I get to stand up, you guys. Okay, so now you guys see how short I really am. Donnell says, I'll catch the replay. Sorry, love, that's okay. Donnell, Chloe is here. She says pretty. All right, so I just saw a glitch on the camera, you guys. I do apologize. That is what my problem with this camera is, and I don't know how blurry or clear the camera is, so I apologize if I am blurry. This should be coming in clear even if I don't come in clear. Okay, so this is the top of what I've got laid out. My wall is not big enough for the height of this quilt. Okay, so you are going to be assembling your pieces in units, okay? So each of these units, let me take some down real quick so you guys can see what we're looking at. All right, so every unit consists of 4 pieces, all right? So this little chisel right here is 4 pieces. You're gonna have one of your background. You are going to have one of your focus prints, and then you are going to have 2 of your half square triangle units. Okay? So you're going to have 2 of your half square triangles, one of your background, and one of your focus, okay? So one of your background, one of your focus. Every single unit that is up here is the same thing, okay? However, this unit is different from the unit that's above it and below it. But if you look, this unit right here is the exact same as this unit right here. Okay? Same here, this unit is the same as this one. So half of your units are going to be assembled this way. And then half of your units are going to be assembled the opposite way. So you're still going to have 2 of your half square triangle units. And I'm going to show you how to get this right every time, okay? Okay, so you're going to have 2 of your half square triangle units, 1 of your focus, and 1 of your backgrounds. Okay. All right. So again, each unit is going to have a background rectangle, a focus fabric rectangle, and then 1 of your half square triangles here, and 1 of your half square triangles there. Okay. This is the actual layout of the quilt, okay? I'm going to show you a couple different ways you can do this, but this is the overall layout. This right here is 1 block wide. So this chisel line here is 1 block. This is going to be a 4x6. Joyce says she'll have to watch the replay. Got to pick up the grandkids from school. No worries, Joyce. I understand. I have had kids in school, and school waits for no one. All right. So each of your chisel lines is your own block, or is your block. So I will have 4 of these. My wall is only big enough for probably 3 if I go back behind my bookshelf here, but I've only got 2 up here, okay? So you're going to have this same repeating pattern. So your background is going to do this pattern, okay? Your background is going to do this. Now, if you decide that you want your focus fabric as your background, you can totally do that. So you can swap them. So if you like this little, almost looks like a chicken, a little baby chick or something. If you like this little layout here, you can do that as your focus print. So that means you're going to have focus print out here as well. So you'll have partial chickens. And then do your background here. You can do that as well. So you can reverse this, okay? You do not have to do it in this format. Donna says, so pretty, Tammy. Thank you, Donna. I appreciate it. My viewers asked for something that was using fat quarters, and so this is what I came up with. All right. Vicky says, I think I'll stay with my English paper piecing for now. No worries, Vicky. No worries. This is actually really easy to do. This is a beginner-friendly quilt. All right. So here's one thing I'm going to show you. And I apologize. My pieces are actually coming off of my board, okay? When you cut your fat quarter pieces and you came up with your, and I'll actually bring another set up. When you came up with your half square triangles and your rectangle pieces, both of your focus fabric and your background print, you came up with 1, 2, 3, 4. You came up with 12 each, okay? So in order to make it in a block format, Chloe says I still have a bunch of cutting. No worries, Chloe. This is not a race. I have to race so that I can present it to you guys, but you guys don't have to race. No worries at all. Yeah, my pieces are actually coming off of my batting back here, you guys. I do not have a board to put up here. Not yet anyway. So I decided to use batting and it just is not working for me. Alright. So we're going to go back to this for just a second. So in here I used different backgrounds. So this blue is a background and this red is a background. And then the white actually has little bears on it. So this white and bear print are my chisels. Okay? So if you look in the middle, I do have this little this unique little looking piece there. But I don't have that on this bottom piece. And I don't have it up here. Okay? Because I didn't want to mix and match. Charlotte says, I'm glad I waited to start. Pulled fabrics and changed my mind on the background. No worries, Charlotte. I had to think really hard about what I wanted. So it took me a lot to figure out which one I wanted to use. So if you are using different background prints, like I did in the table topper, you can put them together in block units. But here's what I will say. When you put them together in block units, I will figure out this camera deal, you guys. I will figure it out, I promise. There we go. Alright, so if you put it together in block units, you have 3 chisels per block unit. Okay? That's what you get out of your fat quarter. You get 2 blocks, so you get a total of 6 chisels, and you get 6 you've got enough to do the backgrounds. Okay? That's why we paired it up. Alright, so if you want to do a block format, you can do 3 chisels per block unit. But I want you to notice something. The B blocks, the blue ones, are different from the A blocks, the red ones. Okay? It is all in the way you lay out your chisels. Now, I can show you how to do this so you do it that way, or the easiest way is if you do have a design space where you can lay these out, do that. And you will want to lay out 3 chisels at a time to create a block. Now the blocks are wider this way than they are this way, okay? So if you were to flip your blocks this way, which you can do, your quilt is going to be differently sized, okay? So these block units, these chisel block units are not square. Okay? All right. How much of this makes sense? I know that's a loaded question, but how much of this makes sense? And the chat goes quiet. I'm just kidding. I know you guys are 30 seconds behind me, so. Vicky, I love your background print. Do you like this one? Or did you like the blue and the red? Which one did you like? Because I personally love this one. It is absolutely my favorite. I'm going to get thread wound while you guys are catching up with me. It does. Okay, it does make sense. Good. All right. I have to follow my own conversation. I say something and I lose track. Judy is here. Hi, Judy. Vicky, you like my blue and red? Yes. And see, that's why I wanted to do my sample in a completely different colorway to what you would be seeing on my finished quilt, because I wanted to show you what the options look like. I didn't want you to be stuck thinking that you had to do the blue and red kind of checkerboard pattern. Charlotte says it's fairly clear as mud. I'll have to play with the layout to get it. No worries, Charlotte. I'm going to walk through it. So do not panic. Do not panic. So in each of these quilts, whether you're doing the throw size or you're doing the king size, either way you do it, you are going to have an even number of units. Okay, you have an even number of chisels. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with half of them, and we're going to sew them one direction, and then we're going to sew the others the other direction. Okay, so don't worry, we are going to walk through this. This is just the quick overview of what it's going to look like. Okay, so please, please, please do not panic. I haven't sewn through my finger yet, so, you know, there's no reason to panic, right? That's what we're going to go with today. And I didn't ask, but how are all of you doing today? This is a lovely Thursday here. It is 72 degrees outside, so it's getting nice and warm, which means we've already got the air on. Because I do not do without air conditioning. I don't. Alright, I'm going to grab a few chisels that I've got to get, and I'm going to grab all of my set. So I promise we're going to make this clear. I promise we are. And I was going to show you what's back here, but it doesn't quite make sense. So the top rows, if you look, if you didn't change your layout, you could do this as a complete chisel pattern. So you'll have your focus fabric chisel, your background chisel, your focus fabric and background, and so on and so forth. So you could do the layout that way and not have the little, you know, miniature chickens in there. But that's the way that I have chosen to lay this out. But this is another alternative that you can do. So, but either way, you're still going to do half of them one way and half of them the other. So, I'm choosing one of my prints right now, and that's what we're going to start with. And I just need to make sure that I've got a total of 6 chisels that I've made out of this one print. That is the goal, okay? So, woohoo! I think I've got everything moved around. All right, and I'm going to bring my ironing board so I can get to it. And I'm going to lower it down so I can reach it. All right, Charlotte says, I don't panic over much anymore. I'm a happy person today. Got my hearing aids adjusted. Now I hear you clearly. Awesome, Charlotte. And just so you know, Charlotte, I do try to make sure that I have my closed captions on all of my videos. So if you ever do have trouble hearing me, please try turning on your closed captions, because that they should be turned on my videos. If they are ever not turned on my videos, guys, please let me know. I want to be as accessible as possible. I don't want anybody to be struggling to hear, understand, or be able to participate. Okay? I want you all to be able to participate. All right, let me adjust this real quick so you guys can actually see me. You get to see my pretty smile. Okay. So I feel like Miss Debbie. You know, it's me. I don't do that, but it's me. Charlotte says, I'll remember that. Thanks. You're welcome, Charlotte. You are welcome. All right, so I'm going to lay a chisel out down here so you guys can see exactly what we're looking at. Okay? And I'm going to give you a hint. The background print is always going to be at one end or the other. Okay? It doesn't matter which end, but your background is always going to be at one end or the other. And your focus print will always be in between and touching your focus print on your half square triangles. Charlotte says, you do have a lovely smile. Oh, thank you. Closed captions are not on, says Vicky. Oh no, hang on. Let me see if I can turn them on. Let's see if that was me and if I can do something about it. If I can't, oh my gosh. I thought I had them turned on, you guys. I am so sorry. And YouTube is not going to let me, I don't believe. Oh no. Okay, you guys, I am sorry about that. So if you are watching this on the replay, if you have trouble hearing me or you have trouble understanding anything and YouTube is not doing automatic captions for me, let me know that it is not accessible for you and I will fix it. I will download it. I will manually put in my captions. I will make it accessible, okay? I'm not going to leave anybody out. That is not fair. I'm not going to do it. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and lay out all of my chisels for this one set. Okay, so I should have 6 half square triangles in this stack and 6 in this stack. Okay, this is going to make it a lot easier to get everything laid out because you're not having to you're not having to figure it out from chisel to chisel. Charlotte says, I'll follow the transcript. Awesome. Yeah, when it's turned on, because apparently I didn't do that right. I think it was just this series, so that may mean I need to go back to my episodes 1 and 2, and I'll need to adjust the settings for episode 4. That way YouTube does the work for me, and I don't have to go back and do it more manually, because I will do it. I do not have a problem doing that. Not a problem at all. All right, so I'm just turning everything right side up as well as I go. That way I don't have to worry about when I pick something up. Okay? So this is 6 chisels worth sitting right here. And all I have to do is put them together. Okay? So you can chain piece this if you want. And here's what I would do if I was going to chain piece them. And I probably will. I'm going to sew these 2 pieces together. So I'm going to sew a rectangle with a half square triangle. And I'm going to sew that, and I'll sew the next all the way down. I will sew that entire stack. And then I will come sew this rectangle with this half square triangle. Okay? So I've been approached with a question, and if you did not get your half square triangles to the full size, these should be 5.5. Okay? So they should finish at 5 inches. If you do not have your half square triangles at that size, whatever size you have it at, you want to take your 3.5 by 5.5 inch rectangles, and you're going to leave your 3.5 inch side okay. You're not going to trim anything off of that. You're just going to trim off the height, okay? So you want to make, let's see, Charlotte says, got to run. Hungry grands are waiting. We'll watch the rest in replay. Have a great rest of your day to me and everyone. Thank you, Charlotte. I appreciate that. So if your half square triangles are small, then just use your half square triangle to compare, and then you can trim off the extra. You'll want to trim it off just from the short side, so you'll trim it to match, okay? So if you have all of them at 5.5, then the cutting instructions for these will work perfectly. So they'll be 3.5 by 5.5, okay? So here's another thing to look at. So you see the pattern of the chisel here. If your fabrics are really busy and you've got a busy background and a busy background, and your focus fabric is kind of blending in and it's a little hard to see this, what I want you to do is I want you to take your half square triangles and you're going to lay them on top of each other, okay? You're going to have a focus fabric here, and you're going to have a focus fabric here that completes a square, okay? So if you were just to roll this up or hide that away, you're going to have an entire square of your focus fabric. That is how you know that you have the chisel angles in the right location, okay? The other chisel direction, you're going to turn it, but it's going to work the same way. So this chisel piece is going to match this chisel piece, and the only difference is that your background rectangles go on the opposite side. So you're going to sew your background to your focus and your background to your background. So the only difference is the rotation of your half square triangles and where your background ends up laying. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get sewing so that we can get some of this done. And I'm just going to stack it up because I know that's what I want to get done. And we are going to get through a couple different fabrics today. We're not just going to sit there and do nothing, I promise. Oh, I have no thread. Let me get my needle out and let's rethread. Today is that day. I've had to rethread my long arm probably about 15 times today, you guys. I've been working on the Irish chain with a twist baby quilt, finally getting her quilted, and yeah, I've had to rethread my long arm a lot. And some of it's broken thread, some of it is just me going too fast for my long arm. So there's a lot of options as to what happened. All right, so all we're doing is we're taking that background and we're flipping our background rectangle or background triangle on top of it. And because I'm doing all of the chisels that go the same direction all at one time, that's going to make my job easier. Now, if you're doing this in the block format, where the red and blue blocks, like I did in the table topper, then you are going to want to lay out just the ones that are going to go this direction. So you're going to lay out half of each in this direction, and then you're going to lay out the other half in the opposite direction. So since you have 6 of each of these, so you're going to be making 6 chisels, you'll lay 3 out in one direction and 3 out in the opposite direction out of each fat quarter. So because this one is going together and I'm going to place the chisels in different colors, like right next to each other, I will be able to play with the color placement as long as the chisels are already put together. So we're going to get at least 2, if not 4, of the fat quarters done. So we'll have a total of 24 of the chisels, because I want to show you what you're going to do once these are all together. And I did not worry about pressing any of these seams until we have the entire chisel. Okay, there's no reason to go ahead and press them early. I mean, you can if you really want to, but there's no reason to, because all you need to do is get these sewn together, and then you'll be able to go from there. So today must be a busy Thursday. It has been kind of quiet around here, so that means everybody, I think, is out of the apartments today. I don't know why. I don't know why. Maybe it's the good weather. Maybe everybody went out to go play in the good weather, because we've had some cold weather here lately. Is anybody facing any major storms or anything? I haven't been paying attention to the weather lately. I know that I don't think we have anything coming up. So I couldn't say for sure. I could not say for sure. So I know Jane was in the chat earlier. Did my instructions make sense, Jean? Because I know that you were working on this as well. And I want to make sure everything that I'm saying is making sense. You guys, let me know if it's not making sense. Chloe says it is rainy here in Rhode Island. Well, that I guess that's not a bad thing, as long as it's not storming bad. Jean says, I am sewing. Did I inspire you? Vicky asks, is your Bonita an embroidery machine also? Yes, it is, Vicky. I have the embroidery module for it, and that is actually how I'm going to be doing my quilt labels for the Irish Chain with a Twist quilt and all of the others that are sitting up on my shelf to be done. So, yep, it is an embroidery machine. And I do have a embroidery project that is coming up. I've just got to get set up to work on it. Let's see. I know I'm going by the layout beside you. Awesome. So this one right here, right? Did you screenshot it? If I need to go back to it, let me know. Let me know for sure. All right. So we are going to grab these with the orange flowers. That's going to be my next one. And these are going to go the opposite direction of what I was working on. All right, good, good. I am excited to see it, Joyce, once you get it done. Because I'm hoping that this is like as easy as I feel like it is. Vicky says that she misses her embroidery machine. I can imagine you would. I love to be able to embroider. I just haven't done any in a little bit. That's my only downfall, is I haven't done any in a little bit, so I kind of need to get back into it. Alright, so there's that. And I did have all of this together before I started laying it out today. So with me thumbing through it, that is not my normal. That is not what I recommend doing. I recommend keeping it all together. All right. Now, Vicky, here's a question for you. Since you said you did have an embroidery machine, did you? Let's see. Let me look at which chisel I was doing. Okay. So this one's going to go this way. All right. So what that means, since I know that this block is going to go this way, since the other block was going the opposite way, then all I have to do to make sure I know where my other block goes is line up like I'm making a square and then move it over. Okay? And because my background was over here last time, all the way over here, it's going to go all the way over here this time. Okay? So that's how you can tell. You can also take these off the machine, but I'm not going to do that right now. But that is an option you have. Let's see. Jean says, I put 3 of the chisels laid out, so then I will have the pattern to go by. There you go. That is the way to do it. That is absolutely the way to do it. So, yep, I'm just going to stack up everything from this fat quarter, or this fat quarter set, because I've got a background fat quarter and my focus fabric fat quarter. So I'm just going to stack these up in the same direction as each other. And I'm just going to make sure that on my half square triangles I've got 6 in each stack, because that's where I would run into problems. Jean says, I love an embroidery machine, but way too far out of my budget. I understand that too. If I didn't have the job I had at the time when I bought my machine, it wouldn't have been an option either. Vicky says, I used to do full embroidered framed pictures. Oh, I bet those turned out pretty awesome, Vicky. Have you ever done a fully embroidered quilt? Like, have you quilted an entire quilt with an embroidery machine? I have done that. I've done it a couple of different times, and I still need some practice. Oh, Vicky, wow. She's telling Jean that her and her hubby took out a mortgage on the house to get hers. Oh, my goodness. All right. So, now that my background and my focus fabric squares or rectangles are small, or on the other side, I'm just going to stack them up this way. And so when I pull my half square triangle off, I am just going to flip my rectangle on top. So I'm going the opposite way of what I was doing earlier. And that is just because that's the easier way to do this. Chloe, yes. Some of them are that expensive. So I will be honest, when I bought my embroidery machine or embroidery module for this machine, I got it as a bundle deal. When you are buying a machine that has the option to do embroidery, if it is an add-on option for later, you can always, buy the machine and then add it later. But if you know it's something you're going to do, frequently you can cut a deal with the dealer who's selling you the machine, and you can get it cheaper that way. Jean says, the one beside you has different chisels each row, and the one behind you has a set of 3 of the same. Which way are you doing it? I'm going to do the one that's on the wall, so I'm going to do different chisels each way. So I'm just going to, that's why I can do all of the one chisel in the same direction, or all of the same fabric in one direction, and then do the next one in the opposite direction. I'm going to end up with an even number either way, so it won't make a difference. Let's see. Vicky says, I've done about 12 blocks of quilting on the embroidery machine. That's not a bad way to do it. I did a continuous embroidery on one of them, and I have like the registration marks and all of that to be able to reposition, and it's sometimes so tough. Denise So Patch 33 is here. She says hello. Hello, Denise. Glad you made it into the chat today. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are working on putting together the cut and chiseled fat quarter friendly project. And I am doing a throw sized quilt, and it should end up being 60 inches by 69 inches. I was having to look at my notes just to make sure I said it right the first time. Because I will say something wrong and not get it right. I'll be thinking the wrong thing all day. Alright, so we are halfway through this fat quarter set. So you guys, you see how fast this is going together? It is really all that simple. So as long as once you get your half square triangles cut and trimmed to the correct size, it is so much easier to put everything together, because everything at this point is just assembly. You're not going to have to trim. You're not going to have to do any extra finagling. It is just putting it together. So I'm going to show you what we're going to do later with the pressing. So you will need to stay tuned for that, because we're going to do a couple of cool techniques that I don't know if you've seen before, but they're standards that I do. They're kind of like, they're always in the back of my mind. They're things that I like to use when I'm doing all of my projects. So I want to be able to share those with you, so you guys are seeing that too. So let's see. I got, looks like 2 more in this stack. And then I'll come back and then we'll put them together too. Vicki says I had one of the first Husqvarna embroidery machines. It was called the Diamond. I had the Diamond 2 embroidery machine. And I don't remember, I don't think I had the actual embroidery module for it. But I had the Diamond 2, and that was a gift from my grandparents to me for graduating high school or college. I can't remember which one. And I did not grab enough background rectangles, and I don't know how I did that. So we're going to steal one, and if I need to cut more later, I will cut more later. All right, let's see. But yeah, my Husqvarna Diamond 2, I actually sewed through that machine. I sewed with that machine so much that it kind of just gave up the ghost on me. Let's see. Chloe says, Vicki, do you have Facebook to share your work? Yes, if she does, Vicki, if you do exclamation group, and that will give you the link to the Facebook group, and you can join my group and participate in Sew and Tell. Sew and Tell is a monthly thing. We do it the first Tuesday of the month. And when you have submitted something to Sew and Tell, I apologize, guys. I've got to stand up to get this off the wall. When you participate in Sew and Tell, you are entered to win the Sew and Tell giveaway. Sew and Tell giveaway is going to be an every 6-month thing. Our first one will be in October. So we're going to have lots of fun. I just gotta say, we're gonna have lots of fun. I used to work for some embroidery digitizers who would send me their designs. Oh, that's awesome, Vicki. I do have the embroidery, or I do have the software to digitize with, but my drawing skills are lacking, so I don't do as much. Denise says, question, I think you stated that your husband was tall. Will the throw that you're working on, will it cover him if he took a nap on the couch? Actually, my husband is only 5'6". He's not very tall at all. So I'm 5'4", I'm 64 inches tall. So this is 60 by 69. So it would cover me from here down to my feet, and I would have a little bit of room to stretch with it. You can add borders. So if you've got extra background fabric, or you want to do some extra blocks, you definitely can. I'm just not putting it in there as the official instructions. Nina has joined the chat. Nina says, hi Tammy and chat people. Yes, absolutely. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Glad to have you. I think I got all the ones I have for this one. Oh, and I took the pen out of the one I gotta watch for, you guys. Because remember, I had problems with one. That's the one. Okay. So I'm gonna have to watch when I sew this one. Alright. So, our last ones, they were turned like this. So these are going to be turned like that. And then my background was here last time. So now it's going to be over here. Okay, so we're going back to the way that we did the first stack, and we're just repeating it. Okay, So we're going to do this. I'm going to do this 2 more times, but you're going to have a lot more to go. This is to get us going. Let's see. Jean says, I have no drawing ability at all. That's why I love quilting. I can do math. Yes. See, I can do math and I can draw with a ruler. I can draw straight lines. When it comes to artistic drawing, forget it. I am not your lady when it comes to artistic drawing. It's not that I don't love to take pencil and draw on paper. It's just I don't know. Let's see. You have 3 men in the family who are 6'2". All right, so the layout for the throw that I'm doing is 4x6. So if you put in an extra row at the bottom, then you would have yours as a 5x6, and that would make it, I don't know the exact measurements. Hang on. Let me grab my ruler, and I will get you the information you need. And let's see, which pile do I have too many in? I've got 3, I've got 6. I've got 3, I've got 6. Okay, so those are the right piles. Did I have enough background? No, I did not. So somewhere I have lost a background rectangle. All right, so let me grab my notepad real quick. And you're going to be adding, if you were adding an extra block row down, with this being a 6th layout, you would need, hang on, let me think. Give me a second, guys. I'm going to math. Alright, so, okay, that's 24 blocks. So if we do 5x6, that's 30. And these come out 2 at a time. 15. That wouldn't work. So you could do a 6x6 layout. That would probably be the easiest, because that would be a 36 layout, and that would be easily, I would do a 6x6 layout. That would be my recommendation. So in order to do that, 6, 12, you would need to do an additional 12 fat quarters total. So you would do 6 of, is that right? 1, 2. I'm thinking, I promise. Let me get back to you on that. I will be thinking while we're working. I will be thinking about it, Denise, exactly how it's going to lay out, because so every fat quarter, okay, so you're pairing your fat quarters. You're pairing your focus and your background. So every time you do a fat quarter or a pair of fat quarters, you're going to come out with 2 blocks. So yeah, you do an additional 6 pairs, so you did an additional 12 fat quarters. But that still doesn't seem right, because that's the whole, we're doing 24 fat quarters total, so yeah, add an extra 12, and then just add to the length, just add extra blocks down at the bottom. That would be how I would do it. And that's without doing math. I don't know the exact math on how tall it will be, and my rulers are over there. But you're adding about 36 inches. So yeah, 60 by 69. It'll be 60 inches wide by 69 inches tall. Yeah, you just add it, just every fat quarter set that you do. So every fat quarter adds a block. I will have official answers for you tomorrow. Let's do that. Because then I can do the math part, and I won't stumble over it. Vicky says, oh, it's been so long since I did put my work on Facebook, but you might try. Right now I just use Facebook for a friend of mine. She sends me pictures of my adopted granddaughter. Oh, that's sweet, Vicky. That's very sweet. But yeah, if you want to join the Facebook group, if somebody will type exclamation group in the chat, that will give the link to the Facebook group. So if you guys will do that for me, somebody, just anybody. And then Maritza has joined the chat saying, hola. Hola, Maritza. Glad you are here. Thank you for joining in the chat. Thank you. All right, so we are going to sew and get these sewn. But yes, Denise, please check out my video tomorrow. Check out the live tomorrow. And that will be something that I have an official answer on exactly how I would recommend you do it. Because I just don't like steering anyone wrong. And it takes me a second to think about it. There we go, Chloe. Thank you so much. She has dropped exclamation group in the chat. Let's make sure Nightbot likes it. Is Nightbot? Yes, Nightbot is working. Nightbot likes me. We are going to give a hip hip hooray for Nightbot today. I know I was worried earlier that Nightbot was just going to crash on me, and it hasn't. So I'm very, very blessed. All right, so we are just getting our third fat quarter set sewn together. So you will, if you want to do these in sets of 3, just remember that half of them need to go one direction and half of them need to go the opposite direction in order to make the actual blocks. And then you need to plan to have a block A and a block B that are sets of 3 in order to make that pattern work. Okay? If you don't do that, the pattern does not come out right. Ask me how many times I have ripped, because I can tell you it doesn't come out right. So when I do the PDF for you guys to download for tomorrow, do Facebook with Jean, Captain Stitches. See, there you go. There you go. You're already on Facebook, and nothing that you share in the group is going to be posted publicly. So when you click join the group, I will get you put in. But nothing that you share is posted publicly unless you say it is for show and tell. Show and tell items do not have to be completed projects. So you could be in the process of completing a project. That's fine. You could be 3/4 of the way through and need advice. That's fine. None of that's going to be posted publicly or shared publicly. The only time that I do share anything publicly is when you tell me show and tell, i.e. you want me to share it. And that's when it's going to go to the show and tell giveaway option. I haven't decided yet still whether or not show and tell is going to be per entry. So like every time you enter a show and tell, you're getting a new entry, or you're getting an additional entry, or if we're going to do something different. I am going to work on that before too long. June will be our third one, so I'll have an answer for you guys by July. So you guys will know by July how the entries are going to work for that. But everybody who has input is going to get an entry for sure. There we go. Maritza's saying hi to Vicky and to Chloe. That's awesome. I love when you guys say hi to each other. I really do. You guys help me out so much. So the other day we were talking, I think it was Sunday night, and I was asking you guys what was the oddest or strangest item that you have in your studio or your sewing space that you use for sewing or quilting that was not marketed to quilters. What item do you sew or quilt with that's not marketed to quilters? And so a lot of people had some unique items in their studios or in their sewing rooms. So here's a question for you. If you have a choice, like if you were to design your dream quilting room or studio or space or whatever you want to call it. Mine is always called my studio. But if you were to design your ideal sewing or quilting space, would you put carpet? Would you put hardwood? Would you put linoleum? What kind of flooring would you use? I'm going to grab the others of this one off the wall. Actually, you know what? I'm going to grab one other. I'm going to change which one I'm grabbing. So bear with me. I want these. I want that print. Because that one's behind me, so I want to get it off the wall, off the batting, so that way I can work with it a little bit. Alright, so let's start grabbing and getting my pins out. This is just tacked up here. I've got to work on a better solution. I don't want to have it up here all the time, but I think this worked well for, you know, at least getting it out there for you guys. So, what kind of flooring would you prefer to have in your sewing space? Denise says hardwood. That's a really good one too. I love having hardwood floors. It makes cleaning up all the little fuzzies easier, and it makes finding pins easier. I don't tend to step on them. Okay. Apologize, you guys. I had my dog being dropped off. Judy says she would put hardwood flooring and have throw rugs in different places. That's actually a good idea. I hadn't thought about the throw rugs, but that's a really good idea. Jane says wood. She has carpet and hates it. I'm going to be ripping out the carpet throughout the house and putting down wood. See, if I was not renting, I would be ripping out the carpet too. I hate having carpet. Vicky says my sewing room had linoleum, mainly because of dropping pins on the floor. Also easier to clean. Yes, it is. I will say this. When I've had hardwood floors, I didn't find them to be as cold as linoleum. Let's see. Chloe says, I agree with Judy with the hardwood floors and the throw rugs. I like that idea, you guys. That might be what I do when I get to do my own. Alright, so this is how the last one went, you guys. So that's why I was flipping that up so I could see. So that's the way the last one went. So we're going to go back. We're going to go the opposite way. And my background was on the other side, so we're going to put it here this time. Okay? So that is as simple as it can be. Okay, so all you are doing is you take your stack, and yours probably won't be like spread all over the place like mine is, especially if you just, you know, picking this up from where you had it, or out of your box or whatever. So you won't have to like sort through it like I'm having to do. But this is the way to make sure that they are going the way that you want. Now you can mix this up however you want. If you want half of each one to be going one way and half of each one going the opposite way, you can absolutely do that. It's just make sure that you have some kind of way to decide which direction you're going to go. Because that's the key, is to know which direction you're going to go. Alright, so now we've got it all laid out. So we're going to move everything over. And then we get going. Alright. Thank you, sir. Alright, he's in here and he's already getting into things. Gotta love the puppy dogs, right? Oh, and that's another thing about the flooring, the hardwood floors. It would be so much easier to clean up the dog hair. Judy says, I currently have carpet right now and have to run the vacuum daily. See, I need to be running the vacuum daily, but of course I've got the cord for my foot pedal, and I've got the cords for cameras, and the cords for everything else. And I would have to pick those cords up in order to run the vacuum. I do have a Roomba, but again, I need to, you know, pick up cords in order to run the Roomba too. So I've thought about it. Just can't do anything until I move out of here. So But I loved my hardwoods. Gosh, I miss them, guys. You brought back some memories with those hardwood comments. I miss them. All right, let's see. Okay, here's a silly question. Here's a silly non-quilting question. If you were to choose a last meal fast food, like if you were to go somewhere and you have to get fast food and you knew it was the last time you were ever going to be able to get fast food, whatever reason. You know, you're going to Antarctica and you're going to be camping out for 3 years. You know, if it was going to be your last fast food meal ever, what fast food restaurant would you go to? Vicky says, I lived in snow country on a mountain where winters could drop us 4 feet of snow over a couple of days, but my hubby always cleared the snow and I just turned on the heat. Oh, wow. That's one way to do it, Vicky. That is definitely a way to do it. I'd rather let somebody else deal with the snow, too. I mean, I like it. I love having snow where I live. But it is definitely a chore to have to clear it. Thankfully, I'm not having to do that yet because we're in an apartment and the apartment people have to do that for us. But, yeah. Oh, he's not settling, you guys. He's not settling. Settle. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. All right. All right, do you guys want to see the puppy? Texas Roadhouse and may never leave, says Judy. Not quite fast food. They don't have a drive-thru. But I like the way you're thinking. All right, so here's the puppy. Come here. All right. So we has puppy dog. He doesn't like to look at the camera because he doesn't know what the camera is. Hi, baby. Hi. Thank you. So yep, this is the puppy dog, you guys. All right. Thank you. Yeah, I know. Hi. Are you done? Thank you. Good job. Okay. Let's see. Chloe says, that is a hard question. Maybe nachos from Taco Bell. That's not a bad meal. Vicky says, I have diabetic and fast food is not an option. Well, if it's going to be your last meal, it might be. I know. I mean, silly question, but it's just something off the wall that I thought of. Because we don't have a whole lot of options here. And so when we go to Denver or Salt Lake City or wherever that is not Wyoming, we are absolutely stopping at some of our favorite restaurants. And it's not something we get every day. We don't go to Denver every day by any means. We couldn't go to Salt Lake City every day if we wanted to. But when we are in the big cities, we definitely go for both some fast food and some sit-down food that's just it's something that we can't get locally. I know right now the closest fast food place that I can't get here, Vicky says not even then. Okay, I understand. No worries. I think my best option if I were to go to fast food locally would be Chick-fil-A. And it's only because I grew up in the Southeast and I have a taste for Chick-fil-A. Some of my local friends don't even like Chick-fil-A. They're like, why? Why do you like Chick-fil-A? Like, it's an acquired taste, I guess. Oh, you know what I think I would do? If I could choose any fast food place, not just some place that's local that I could drive to, if I were to choose any place, it might actually be Milo's. If you know what Milo's is, let me know. It is not something I would eat every day. It is not something I want every day. Judy says going to eat. We'll finish up on the replay. No worries, Judy. I hear ya. All right. My sis makes an awesome pizza, which I splurge and enjoy. That makes sense, Vicky. Everybody saying bye to Judy? Absolutely. Thank you guys for being kind and helping out. I appreciate all that. I really do. All right, so there's my background rectangle extra. Arby's, says Jean. Ooh, I could go for some Arby's. I haven't had Arby's in a little bit. I do have it. I do have Arby's locally, but I haven't had it in a long time. All right, so no takers on Milo's. I can tell which one of you guys are not from the South if you do not know what Milo's is. I forgot to restock my Dr. Pepper, you guys. I'm about to be out. Oh well. Chloe says, I'm not a fan of Chick-fil-A. Yeah, there's a lot of people that just don't have a taste for it. And it's not that I couldn't eat Chick-fil-A every day. There's no way that I could eat Chick-fil-A every day. But I like it in that every so often kind of sense. And I kind of like it because I can't get it here normally. So when I can get to Chick-fil-A, Chloe says, I don't know Milo's. Alright, so we got one that doesn't know Milo's. Anybody else know what Milo's is? You guys probably have heard of Milo's. You just have never heard of the restaurant chain. If you guys have gone into Walmart, what is Milo's, says Denise. If you guys have gone into Walmart, you've probably seen in the sweet tea department, if you look at tea, if you've seen sweet tea, a lot of Walmart locations carry Milo's sweet tea. Milo's, if memory serves me correctly, on their founding story, because I don't remember if it does. Jean says never heard of it. Yeah, they are a restaurant in the Southeast, and they do sell burgers, but they come with onions and their special Milo's barbecue sauce. They come with that on them, and the buns are toasted. I mean, it's not anything that is like just groundbreaking, but it is absolutely a very specific taste. They sell burgers. I don't remember if they have chicken. I couldn't tell you for sure if they've got chicken items, but they have burgers and cheeseburgers, and I think they have hot dogs. I'm not sure about that, but I think they do. But they're the only place that I've ever tasted anything just like it is at Milo's. But the Milo sweet tea in the gallon jugs are shipped all across the country, but they are made in Birmingham, Alabama. Also bad for diabetic. Yeah, now they do have a Splenda sweet tea, and they do offer a no sugar tea. But they're famous for their sweet tea. So they do offer, they cater and all of that, but they're known for the sweet tea. Jean says she's never had Chick-fil-A. So if you were to eat Chick-fil-A for the first time ever, my recommendation is to get the original chicken sandwich. If you are not a normal Chick-fil-A eater, you've never had it, you're wanting to try something from Chick-fil-A, I recommend the chicken sandwich because it is that classic flavor taste combination. I would not recommend like the chicken nuggets or the chicken strips or whatever. They're really great and I like them, but if you've never had Chick-fil-A, that's going to taste really odd to you. The chicken sandwich is not going to taste as odd. And let's see, Vicky says, alright, I already read that one. I don't have an Arby's here, but that is my favorite, says Jean. Yeah, I mean, I do have an Arby's here. but I don't think about them that often. Where they're located here is kind of hard to get into. Like it's not set up very well, in my opinion. So I forget that it's there. Jean says that she does not have an Arby's in her town. So we have Arby's, we have Taco John's, we have Taco Bell. Now I had never heard of Taco John's until I came out west. I heard of Taco John's before moving to Casper, but I'd never heard of Taco John's before coming out west. There are no Taco John's locations that I'm aware of in the southeast. So I'd never had it. I didn't have it growing up. Oh, you don't have a Chick-fil-A in your hometown. Gotcha. Yeah, I don't have one either. Closest Chick-fil-A is in Cheyenne. That is the only Chick-fil-A. I want to say it's the only Chick-fil-A in Wyoming, but I want to say that they were talking about opening up another one. But it could have been something else that opened up in Laramie. So I'm not sure. But we do have one in Cheyenne. Let's see. We don't have Cracker Barrel here. Let's see what we do have. We have Arby's, McDonald's, Taco Bell, Taco John's. We have Wendy's. We do have a single Sonic in the entire town. We didn't have that for a little bit. We do not have Hardee's anymore. We used to have Hardee's. We don't have them anymore. What else do we have here? We do have Subway. We have Blimpie. We have Jimmy John's. Vicky says, now if we had Dairy Queen, I would be inclined to get a small Blizzard. We do have Dairy Queen. I don't go to Dairy Queen very often. I can't handle a lot of dairy. And so Blizzards and all that kind of stuff is too heavy for me. We don't have a lot of things in my town. Yeah, they don't have a lot of things here. We do have a KFC. Gosh, what else do we have? Just trying to think of what all is open at what hours. As far as like big chain stuff. We have Starbucks. We have a couple of Starbucks here. I don't go to Starbucks very often, if at all. Tried the Milo sweet tea. Did not care for it. Must be an acquired taste. But I'm from Ohio originally. That's why you don't like the sweet tea. Being from Ohio, you guys are not accustomed to Southern style sweet tea. If you like Southern style sweet tea, or you get the Southern style sweet tea from McDonald's, you will probably like Milo sweet tea. If you don't like the Southern style sweet tea from McDonald's, you probably won't like Milo sweet tea. I'm just saying. Gosh, I don't remember anything else that we have here. Oh, we do have Pizza Hut. We definitely have Starbucks, says Jean. Yeah, I think this is, did I screw something up? I don't think I did. I'm just double checking, you guys. Don't panic on me. No, I didn't screw anything up. Okay. Alright, so when you are sewing your pieces together, the only thing you have to worry about in order to complete your chisels is, and this is one thing I should have shown you guys, okay? So your chisels are going to go whichever direction your chisels are going to go, but what you're sewing is you're sewing the seam between your focus fabrics, okay? Chloe says, have to go. I'll watch replay. No worries, Chloe. That is perfectly fine. I understand. So let's see. We do have Starbucks. We got a whole bunch of coffee shops here. A whole lot of like mom and pop coffee shops. We don't have Dutch Brothers. We don't have Panera. We do have Papa John's and Domino's. We do have Papa Murphy's. What else do we have? I can't think of what else we've got. So let's see, what else? All right. So I have been working on basting quilts lately. I've got one more to go. How do you baste your quilts? Do you spray baste? Do you pin? Do you use your long arm? How do you baste your quilts? Or long arm quilt frame, rather. I have a long arm, but not a quilt frame. How do you baste your quilts? Now that we're done talking about food for a minute. And this will land on the right timing. I was looking to be off by about 5 o'clock, so we got about 45 minutes. So this is going to work out well. Alright, Vicky says, I wish Michigan had real Mexican food. I find the version of Mexican food here is terrible. Yeah, there's a lot of different versions of Mexican food. And I messed up, you guys. Okay. My chisel should have been that way. But it's that way. So let me see if I've got Jack nearby. Or do I have Jack? Do I not have Jack? I don't know where Jack is. So we're going to see if I can pull it, or if not, then we'll set this one aside. Oh, there we go. I might be able to pull it. Jean says, I don't baste, I hand quilt in a frame. Oh, that's right. I did ask that the other day. Jean says, we have Wendy's, McDonald's, Burger King. We do have Burger King, Domino's, Taco Bell, Chinese, teriyaki, and 2 Mexican places. We have a lot of Mexican places. We also have a lot of like bar and grill places. We don't have... I have not found a Chinese place here that I really like. I'm not super picky with my Chinese, but we've ordered Chinese once or twice since I moved up here, and I just have not been impressed. Some of the Mexican food here it's definitely not traditional Mexican food. So it's not quite what I was looking for. Oh, I ripped the wrong one. Alright. So I could have left that one alone and I ripped the wrong one. So, alright. I do not recommend doing this. I recommend you find your seam ripper. Because you don't want to stretch your fabric. So I'm having to be very, very careful. I went somewhere yesterday to work on a quilt project and apparently left Jack and all of my other accessories in my bag, which is in the other half of the room. So I would have to get up and leave, and I don't really want to get up and leave to go pick it up. So we're going to work around that. Alright, so we're going to fix this one. Okay, and this one is supposed to go this way. So I did not have to rip it. I'm going to repress these real quick. If my iron is still hot. And of course it's not hot. Sounds like a good stopping point. Yeah. Jean says, mangle it. Yeah, that's about what I'm doing. And my iron has decided to turn back on for me. Imagine that. Alright, so we are going to cut this apart. Now, if you are doing chain piecing like I am doing, and you get to a point and you have to pull things apart and you want to continue your chain piecing, I just go back and restitch over what I have just finished stitching, so that way I don't run into any problems. Alright, so now my chisel looks right. Vicky says, we don't order food here where I live unless we have company. My nephews try to visit once a year. That's awesome. That's a good little, way to do it. We don't eat out a whole lot. But sometimes it is just easier for us. So that's how we ended up with, doing that. Just sometimes that's what we need to do. Let's see. So we had Chinese. I have had some Thai food since I've been here. And it's fairly good. It's not, the best Thai food I've ever had. But it's not absolutely horrendous, if that makes sense. I really do like Thai food. My husband doesn't, so I have to eat it with friends, but yeah. Alright, so this is laid out the same way as the last one. So I hope I didn't. We'll find out in a minute. I will stop borrowing problems. We will see. We'll see. We'll see. And this is because I'm not putting it back up on the wall and looking at it. If I was putting this back up on the wall and looking at it, then I would know for sure that I was going the right direction. So it's all on me. Do as I say, not as I do. Put it on your wall. Take it down pieces at a time. Do one chisel set at a time. Don't try to do 4 at a time. Do as Tammy says, not as Tammy does. Vicky says, I won't pay $10 for a fast food hamburger. Yeah, I don't pay that for them either. I'm very picky. I'm very picky about what I order. I don't order things that either won't reheat or I could make better or whatever. I order things that I don't feel like fixing. So it's, it's things that either me or my husband can't cook well, or it's things that he won't cook for me. Things like that. That's what we order. That's what we spend our money on when we spend money out. Alright, so this is my short one. And it is short the other direction, so we are good here. Alright. So I got one more to go. One more set to go. Alright. And then we get to trim it apart and do some pressing, and I get to show you guys what we're going to do with the pressing. And how to lay this out to get it the way that you want it to go. So, now, do any of you guys have something that you cut your threads with like this? Or do you pull out some snips? Like, how do you do yours? Do you have a gadget? Do you want a gadget? What do you do? What do you do? Inquiring minds want to know. What do you do? Alright. So, here we go. Last set. Alright. So, when you go to lay these out, you can lay them out and double check to make sure. Or you can just take your time with them. Don't be in such a rush that you have to get it done. I am doing that mainly because I want to be able to show you guys what you're doing next. And so you're not sitting there waiting on me. Jean says that she uses scissors. Scissors are a good tool. I grabbed my tool today, but I didn't grab my scissors. So my scissors are on the other side of the room again. They're with my long arm. I have about 2.5 rows of quilting to go, and I will be done with that Irish chain with the twist baby quilt. Let's talk about gravy for biscuits and gravy. Okay. So I actually don't eat biscuits and gravy. Jean says, you keep interrupting my sewing with your questions. Oh no, Jean. Well, then go sew, lady. I promise I'm not trying to interrupt you. Oh, that's funny. All right, so gravy for biscuits and gravy. I, being from the South, I should know about biscuits and gravy. And I do know about it. Like it's a sausage or brown gravy. But I do not eat it. I do not eat biscuits and gravy. Now there was a cool, I don't know if it was on Facebook or YouTube. There was a cool little series that, I don't know if they're still doing it or not because I haven't seen it in a little while. So these people were taking American foods and testing them out on British school kids. And like, we're talking teenagers, you know, kids that can make their own decisions about what they eat. You know, they're not testing it on, you know, babies or, you know, grade schoolers that have no idea what they are allergic to. They were testing it out on, you know, teenage kids. And one of the foods that they had the kids try was biscuits and gravy. It was amazing what their response was. Vicky says, I use my Cricut for English paper piecing and also to cut out my fabric. That's a cool way to do it. I did try using my Cricut for cutting out fabric, but it absolutely was not my favorite. I cut out some masks when I was doing masks for COVID-19, but it's just not my favorite thing to do. I think I'm faster with a rotary cutter than I am, especially if I have to adjust anything in the Cricut and then peeling it off the backing. I had problems. Let's see. All right. Nina says, I have a 3-year-old grand to keep busy. She uses the cutter on the side of her machine. The pretend it works old one. Okay. That works. I love that. Jean says that she loves biscuits and gravy. Denise says biscuits and gravy, be it sausage or bacon gravy for the win. Breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Oh, wow. Vicky says, good girl. It's yummy but very fattening. Well, see, I never developed a taste for it. So, I do not know who likes this stuff. So, please, whatever you do, do not take offense that I don't like it. Okay? Please do not take offense. I do not want anybody upset that I don't like this. But I do not like collard greens. I don't like I will eat fried okra now as an adult, but you could not bribe me. Like, you could not offer me the ice cream treat of the century and bribe me to eat okra growing up. I would not eat it. I hate green beans. Absolutely despise them. But again, I don't eat, collard greens. Oh, mustard greens. I'm trying to think of what other ones, but they're all the very dark leafy greens. I don't like them. I hate them. So you can't get me to eat them. I will eat like baby spinach in salads. But like everybody growing up, if you ate biscuits and gravy, you were probably also eating collard greens and mustard greens and green beans and all of these other vegetables that I just don't touch. Denise says, I don't. We all have our own individual taste buds. Yeah, we do. We do. I was actually given a lot of grief for not liking collard greens and mustard greens. I was given a lot of grief for that. I eat black eyed peas. I will eat all kinds of beans. There's a lot of things I will try, and there's a lot of things I will eat, but the leafy green stuff is not one of them. Let's see. Vicky says, I used to make gravy for B and G. a bit, or for biscuits and gravy, I would cook up some ham, sausage, and bacon, add those to milk gravy, and let cook until a nice creamy gray. See, I would be able to make the gravy. I just wouldn't be able to eat biscuits and gravy. Like, it just doesn't, it's not my taste palette. I don't know. I just never have liked it. Now, I eat grits. I will eat grits. I eat grits. I'll eat oatmeal. I'll eat granola cereal. But I don't eat biscuits and gravy. It is one of those weird things. I'm going to show you guys in just a minute what I'm doing. So, all I'm doing is pressing for the moment. But I'll show you the direction you're pressing here in just a minute. I'm going to get through at least 2 of these before I stop. Because I want to be at a specific point so I can show you guys. That way it will stick and it'll be easier to remember. Because it's not hard to do at all, but I want it to be easy to remember. Alright, so that is one set. Nope, got one more. I lied. I have one more. Let's see, what else do I eat that is a southern thing? Okay. Do you eat your corn on the cob? Or do you eat corn, do you have to have your corn cut off the cob? How do you eat corn? If you eat corn, how do you eat corn? How do you like your corn? I know, it's just a weird question day. Today's just weird, really weird questions. And if you are watching this on the replay, feel free to answer these questions. I know some of them are odd. Some of them are kind of out there for questions. But feel free to. I would absolutely love for you to put your input in. Alright, so I'm going to show you. Now, you can put the quilt together this way, but that's not what we're doing. And I'll show you why in just a minute. But when you are laying out, you want half of your chisels to go this direction with your background square here, or background rectangle here. And then you want the other half to go the opposite way with your background rectangle here, okay? That is the way you know that you've laid everything out right, okay? So I'm going to finish pressing this set, and then I'm going to show you guys how we're going to do it. Let's see, one time I cooked in a restaurant and made all kinds of buffet foods, but I really liked to wait tables. I have never worked in a restaurant a day in my life, and I'm very thankful that I've never had to do so. Denise says, on the cob with butter and no salt. That sounds delicious. I have corn on the cob in the fridge. I think it's in the fridge. I hope that's where you put it. I've got corn on the cob somewhere here at the house. And so I need to cook it. But I bought it specifically to cook to eat. That was my plan. I'm going to cook it and eat it. I have not had some good corn in a while, so I wanted to cook some good corn. So we're going to see how good the corn here is. I don't think any of the farmers markets here have opened up yet. So I gotta wait for the farmers markets to open up to get the really fresh stuff. And I didn't get to go to any of the farmers markets last year, so I don't know. I don't know when they open. I might have to do some research. Now, I am using steam. If you did press and steam everything, if you pressed and starched everything, then you should be fine using steam now. And it should not stretch anything. Okay. Alright. One more, I think. One more? Yes, one more. Okay. So these are not that hard to do. And I am pressing 2 seams and then flipping and pressing in the last seam. Or vice versa. So I'm about to show you guys what we're doing. Okay, so here we are. Alright, so all of your seams, if you were to lay everything out this way, okay, where you've got your background rectangles on one end and your chisels pointing into each other like a chevron, all of your seams are going to be pressed the exact same direction. Okay, this is why we're not assembling it this way. Okay, but we're going to press everything the same direction. So what I want you to do is I want you to look for your rectangles. Okay, so we have our rectangle here in between our half square triangles, and we have a rectangle here. You are pressing towards your rectangles. You are always pressing away from your half square triangles. Okay, so we're going to look at the back. So I had you press your half square triangles open. That's going to reduce a lot of bulk. And then you're going to have your rectangles pressed in. So all of your background, your focus fabric rectangles are going to have their seams pressed in completely towards each other. Okay. Then you're going to do the same thing to your background rectangle. So you're going to press towards your background rectangle. Okay. So we're not pressing these open. There's no need to press them open. We're actually going to use the pressed seams to help us. Let's see, Vicky said, I love most fresh fruit, but I have to stay away from high sugar fruits. Yes, now that I understand too. I do. All right. So, on my wall, what I've got, and I'm not going to attach all these to each other because I'm going to mix them up, but I am going to attach one of them. Okay? So on my wall, my point is up here and point is down here towards the background rectangle. What you're going to do is your next one, your background rectangle is on the opposite end. Okay? So whenever you line these up, Dawn is here. Welcome to the chat, Dawn. Thank you. Thank you for joining. All right. So you're going to have a background rectangle here and a background rectangle here. This is the repeating pattern. Everybody saying hi to Dawn. So welcome in, Dawn. You are getting the grand welcome from the whole crew. All right. So you're going to have a background rectangle on either side. Okay. You also have your other rectangles either side. Okay. All right. So your background rectangles are going to determine your pattern. So you're going to have your point coming out to the end underneath your background rectangle. And if there were another one up here, this would be a background rectangle too. Okay. So your point of your chisel, the very end point, is always going to be out. It's always going to be out. Okay? All right, so when you flip these over to sew these together, the reason that we press towards the background or towards the rectangles, okay? When you line up the center seam here, we're going to see if I can get my camera to focus, okay? We're going to try. We're fighting it today, but we're going to try. All right. So I think that's as focused as I can get it. There we go. All right. So if you see here, you're going to have your seams nesting here at the center point. If you want to drop a pin in that, if that helps you, then do that. Okay? The other seams don't nest to anything. So you've got a seam here, you've got a seam down here, and same thing on the other side. You're going to have a seam here, and then a seam all the way up here. Okay? So the only seam that you have to worry about when you're putting your rows together or putting your chisels together on top of each other is that center seam. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and sew. And we're going to get this one put together because, again, I don't want to attach all of them in the same order. So we're not doing that. So I'm just making sure that when I get to that middle seam, that nested seam in the center of the row, that I am lining that up. Okay, so if you've got all these laid out and you want to pick them up in order, you can. You absolutely can. Okay, so these are laid out in the correct order. Okay, I've actually got it upside down for me. Okay, but these are laid out in the correct order. And then we have that center seam. Okay, let me see if I can grab my remote. Let's see if I've got my remotes, you guys. Do I have my remotes? I do. Do I have the correct remote? No, I do not. What have I done with my remote? Let's see. There we go. Found it. Alright. Let's see if I can zoom in or if I've got to do this a different way. I can zoom in. There we go. Okay. So that's as far as I can zoom, but that is fine. Okay? So let me know if you guys can see this. Do you want... Actually, let me make this bigger. Let me grab the... Let me grab it and put it where you guys can see this. If my software will cooperate. That's what we're hoping for today. We are hoping for the software to cooperate. That way I can get my arm out of the way so you guys can see. Alright. I see somebody's chatted. Let's see. Vicky says she's going to say bye to all. She's getting a bit hungry and also getting very tired. No worries, Vicky. We're only going to be on for about another 20 minutes for right now. Okay. So the rest of this will be continued tomorrow. Okay. So in your row, you've got your chisel and then your next one. Okay. So when you go to press... If you've never seen this before, this is why I'm going to show this, okay? So you've got your seam here going this way. Then you've got your seam here going that way, okay? So what I want you to do between your rows is you're going to pick out a stitch or two, okay? What we're going to do is we are going to spin our center seam. This is going to reduce some of the bulk. If we press this down, this isn't that many layers, but this might be enough that some machines struggle to quilt this. Okay, this isn't super thick. I promise it's not. But some people's machines might have a hard time stitching this. So in order to make this easier and to nest everything throughout the entire quilt, this seam is going to fall down. The other seam, we're going to unstitch just these last couple of stitches. There we go. Now you can do this with a seam ripper, or you can take a straight pin. And actually, let me grab a pin real quick so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So what we're trying to do, you know what? I didn't bring this up to the big screen. I'm so sorry, you guys. Okay, so we're going to go over this again. All right, so this seam right here is not super thick, but it might be hard for some machines to go through it. Okay, so you are taking out just the few threads that are sitting right here. Okay, so you don't have to take them all out. You are just trying to get to see the right sides of your fabrics. Okay, so this is the right side of my fabric, this is the right side, that's right side, that's right side. Okay, So you are flipping it so that you can see the right side. Okay? Then what you're going to do is this entire seam on this half of the chisel is going to get pressed that direction. So you're going to have a little bit of bulk right here, but it's not super bad. Just take your time. And then this side is going to have the same thing. You're going to have a little bit of bulk right there, but it's not that bad. I agree, Jean. Rust up. Surgery tires out everyone. Alright, so I'm going to press this real quick so you guys can see what this is going to look like once it's pressed out. Alright, so it lays really flat, okay? So that seam does not stick up at all. You can't tell that there's a bulky seam there. It's laying flat. So you have a little bit of bulk here, and you have a little bit of bulk here. But overall, it's not bad. But you have no extra bulk there. Most people are going to want a quilt following their focus fabric, so that's going to reduce your bulk. Okay, so let me grab my blue and red sample. So we're going to take a look at the back side of it. Okay, so the same thing happened here. So you've got your seams pressed into your rectangles here, and seams pressed into the rectangles here. And so this seam is rotated, or it's spinned. Okay? I know it's a little bit harder to see with the white fabrics. Okay? But this seam is laying down towards my fingers, and this seam is laying up. Okay? So all of your seams are going to go in one direction, all the way around those center seams. Okay? Same thing's going to happen when you get your next chisel in. You're going to rotate the seams. And they're going to do the same thing. They're going to rotate around. Okay? So when you go to join your block, if you're doing this in 3-row sections, you're going to have the same thing. You're going to have the ability to spin that seam. Okay? So the other reason why we want to do this is we're going to go look at the center. Okay? So here in the center, we were able to spin it again. So this is the edge of the chisel. This is the end of a chisel. Same here and same here. Okay? So we were able to spin that seam. Now, if you're doing this in 3-row sets, you may not have the option to do this, but if you come back and you wanted to, you absolutely could. You would have the option here to spin your seams as well. Okay? Because I did this as 3-row blocks, I didn't do that, but you can. So all you do, let me find my pin again. Okay? So that way you guys have seen this again. Is we're not taking out this seam for the seam allowance. Okay? So this white line of stitching here, we're not taking that out. All we're taking out are these last few stitches here. Okay? So I'm just going to stick my pin in, and you don't necessarily need to cut it. You are just trying to pull it loose. Now if these threads are a different color or they're going to show or something like that, you absolutely can trim them, but you don't need to. Okay? So now that I've got that one pulled out, what I can do is just pull the fabric back a little bit, and we are seeing the right sides of the fabric again, right here in this little square right here. Okay? So as soon as I press that down, that seam will be spinned. It will be spun, spinned, spun, whichever way you want to call it. Okay. All right, so that will be that will spin there. Okay. Then you've got seams that are going the opposite direction here. So you can spin this one as well. Okay. So again, you are just taking out, and you can take your seam ripper. I'd recommend using your seam ripper. A pin is not the greatest idea, but it works. All you are doing is pulling these last few stitches that are in the seam allowance. You're just pulling those loose. Be careful not to pull into your seam allowance, but all you're doing is you are flipping that seam to be able to lay that open. Okay, and what that does is that reduces your bulk, so it's a lot easier to quilt. Okay, so when I put in the directions that you're spinning your seams, that is what a spinned seam looks like. Okay, you're going to see the right sides of your fabric. This one's the easiest one to see on camera. Okay, and I didn't come in here and trim any of this extra thread. It's not going to show, so I'm not going to worry about it. But you can if you want to. If it bugs you, then trim it. But you are spinning your seams anytime that you have the seams matching like that. Okay? So this seam right here, that is dead center of the row, that is the seam that you want to spin. Okay? Let me know if this is making sense, okay? If this is not making sense, if I need to figure out a different way to explain it, I will. Okay, so you're going to spin your seams here. And that is in the middle of your row. That's in the middle of your chisel. All right, so we're going to go back and let me grab my main camera. And so I've been pulling these off as I've been sewing through them. So when you are laying out, so you got your background, your half square triangle, your focus, and your half square triangle. Okay, this seam right here is what you're spinning. Okay, so you're going to have a background and a half square, and a fabric or a focus and a half square. Okay, so same thing here. I've got a background and my half square. Then I've got my focus and my half square. This seam is the one that you're spinning. Then when you join these to the next row, you're going to be spinning here as well. So you're going to spin at every half chisel, okay? So I know that may be a lot to remember, but that's what you are doing, okay? You're spinning those seams. Please let me know if that is making sense. If I'm talking Greek, please tell me I'm talking Greek. I know that's a lot to ask. I know it is. So, if you are doing the throw size, when I call it a 4x6 layout, 4 blocks, you're going to have 3 chisels per block. So you're going to have 12 chisels tall. So your quilt is going to be 12 chisels tall actually it's 4x6. So you're going to have 4 chisels wide, 6 times 3, 18 chisels tall. I'm sorry. Okay, so you are doing 4 chisels wide by 18 chisels tall. Okay, if you are doing the king size where you're doing 7 blocks wide, you're going to have 7 chisels wide, and 8 times 3, you'll have 24 chisels tall. Okay, So that is how you're going to lay this out. I'm going to get some sewing done. You guys are going to get to see the full quilt top laid out and completely put together tomorrow. Denise says it's all great to me, but there's always the replay. Yes, and Denise, one other thing, as soon as this is all published, so when we close Friday, after the live Friday, I'm going to be going back and I will put the PDF link in the description box of all 4 videos. So no matter which video in the series you're watching, you're going to be able to go back and go link to whichever, you'll be able to have the directions on all 4 videos. So it's a cheat sheet. It's not, the full, like it's not written out like a full brand new pattern or anything like that. I mean, it is a brand new pattern, but it's going to be written out as a cheat sheet that is designed to go with the lives. Okay? So I'm going to get to sewing. I'm going to get all of this off the wall, but you guys, if you need to go back and start back at the beginning of this video, please do that. Please watch through it all. That way you understand how the layout is, and then you'll have the cheat sheets at the end. Denise says, thanks for the short visit. We'll watch what I missed. Absolutely, Denise. No worries. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get off of here, you guys. We will be starting at 3 p.m. Mountain Time tomorrow. And so you will see this full quilt laid out. You will also see what I am doing with the scraps, okay? So all the little pieces that we had left over from our fat quarters, you guys are going to get to see what you're going to do with those. Okay, so I will have all that releasing tomorrow. All right, so